Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of WIAGW. Why I am a Genius Weekly. You're about to find out. 2 tickets to the gun show, bam, bam! So guess what, everybody? Today we're talking about video games. So I've played a bunch of new games recently, and there were 2 that stuck in my mind as the most standout of the bunch. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about them on here and explain which I like more and why. So of course, I'm talking about Breath of the Wild and Hollow Knight. My playtimes for these games overlapped. I started Hollow Knight before getting Breath of the Wild, then I beat Breath of the Wild, then came back and finished up Hollow Knight afterward, so there was a lot of crossover in my experience between the 2. So I think it sort of makes sense why the experiences really collided in my brain. They were like the 2 big games that I've played recently that really made an impression on me. Those positive impressions, however, were from 2 very different perspectives. So let's not waste any more time, let's get into the games. First, let's talk about Breath of the Wild. Now, I have played more or less every Zelda that's come out. I missed Wind Waker somewhere along the way. I'll play it one day. But I've played every other mainline Zelda game since Link to the Past, as well as many of the side games, Ocarina of Seasons, Ocarina of Ages, Minish Cap, etc., etc. So I've got a lot of experience with this series. But as everyone knows, what makes Breath of the Wild so cool is how it was totally willing to cast off the shackles of the Link to the Past legacy, as you might call it, that has carried all the way from Ocarina of Time into Twilight Princess. You all know what I'm talking about. That template Zelda formula that everyone was always going on about until Breath of the Wild broke all that. This game was incredible to play. The amount of area you have to traverse in this game is unbelievable, and I love the fact that you're really only inhibited by your stamina meter and environmental obstacles like giant high cliffs, or freezing cold weather, or super hot weather, or anything like that it makes sense a human being would have to prepare and adapt to in order to survive. The freedom you have in that game is so great, especially once you get what's-his-face's Gale, that ability that lets you rocket up super high, and then you can use your paraglider, parasol, whatever the fuck, your glider thing. Using those in combination, you can cover so much land really fast. Oh, that was when the game really got great. The world of that game gave you so much freedom and was so huge. A whole bunch of cities in that game, the ability to fight the last boss immediately if you want to, a la Chrono Trigger, 0 disgusting invisible walls, that the addition of the jumping and climbing mechanics make for an incredible sense of freedom, and a living, breathing world where every person has a character, a routine, a story. Oh, I love it! It brings me right back to my days of playing one of my favorite games, at least one of the ones I'm the most nostalgic for, Radiata Stories, where like every person in the fucking world could be recruited to your team if you memorize their schedule and were fucking neurotic about tracking them down, making sure you met certain quest objectives to get them on your team. God, it was fucking incredible, and I loved it. The hunting for food, just using the bow in this game was a fucking joy. I played it on my Switch. God, I love my Switch. Greatest console of all fucking time. Using the tilt controls to aim that thing. Okay, I don't need to gush anymore about this fucking game. It was great, except for all the ways it wasn't. So going back a second, one of the things I really want to praise about Breath of the Wild is the incredible creativity inherent in the game design. The addition of magnet and stasis are some of the most creative ideas in any game I've ever played. That, if you know how to use them, play amazingly well in this gigantic, explorable 3D world, where you're uninhibited by boundaries. Have you seen some of the shit people can do with that? Just look at this. I was watching SGDQ this year, and I was watching the speed run of Breath of the Wild, and just seeing the techniques people have developed for how to use these things to fucking get around the map by riding rocks and shit, riding logs. It's just like that fucking dude from DragonBall. The coolest man ever. It was fucking dope. I experimented doing some of that myself. Obviously, I'm not on this level of skill, but I had a great time trying it. This is the sort of thing that's enabled by Nintendo going way out of its way to make an incredibly dynamic, comprehensive 3D world for you to explore, and giving you tools like magnet and stasis to explore it with, in addition to the wonderful climbing mechanics, the food mechanics, all that other good stuff. I cannot praise it enough. I loved it. But all of this creativity comes with some downsides. So for all the great new ideas that were in Breath of the Wild that are totally to its credit, frankly, There is a lot of polish that was sacrificed in order to achieve this. In all honesty, Breath of the Wild looks like a game that they made the base structure of, but they really didn't have time to create the kind of fleshed out polish that I love to see in my games. Example, even though I was praising the game for being like Radiata Stories before, the fact of the matter is, the people and characters in Radiata Stories have way more personality and frankly depth to them in that many of them can be recruited into your team as opposed to the people in Zelda who really are like all the same guy. You're either a vendor or you're not. You're either an NPC who gives quests or you're nobody. I love the richness of the towns and the way they come to life during the day and go to sleep during the night. All that is wonderful, but it is a little bit thin. Maybe it's the juxtaposition of how powerful your movement mechanics get that sort of feel like you are above the people in the town. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's going about their little humdrum bullshit lives while you are on this grand adventure. You've got all these abilities that separate you from them. As opposed to Radiata Stories, I don't know why I'm referencing this game so much, where, I mean, you just kind of run around RPG style like you do in an RPG. Like you feel more human and grounded in that world as opposed to this one where you're like a literal god. So again, this is a two-sided issue. There's positives and negatives to this. I already went over all the positives, but the result is frankly that the world feels a bit flat and lacking in personality. Especially because lots of the mountain ranges, you know, I love the exploring you could do, but as you're doing that exploring, a lot of the stuff you encounter is more of the same. And there's a lot of factors that play into this feeling. The fact that you have breakable weapons, every single weapon in the game is breakable, including the Master Sword, though that recovers after a little bit of time. The unavoidable fact of the matter with that is that no matter how amazing or epic a quest you go on in Breath of the Wild, the best you can hope for at the end of it is a temporary strong weapon and a shrine that is 1/4 of a level up thing. Like, we appreciate that and all, but that ain't no Bigoron sword. The one big quest that there was to do in that game was to get their Master Sword, and that was pretty rewarding. I'll give them that. Though the fact that even it breaks after a while and then you have to put it away and wait for it to recover, like, this is the fucking Master Sword, alright? Pretty annoying. Which incidentally brings us to the shrines. Okay, so, you know, people shit on the shrines. There's a million shrines. They're boring. I'm telling you right now, I didn't do anywhere near close to all the fucking shrines. I liked doing the shrines as a way of unlocking a checkpoint and a new place to go. And you know, they're sort of the mechanic that lets you level up. When I say level up, I mean you get a new heart container or an additional bit to your stamina wheel. You know, that's cool. But the challenges themselves are really, really lacking in character. I like the fact that you can be creative and solve them in interesting ways using the physics mechanics. That's the upside of this, but like, look at the environment here. It's fucking boring. It's the same every time. There are a couple different types, and honestly, I'm not one of these people who hates the shrines. I just think they could have been a lot better. And of course, the shrines are wrapped up in the dungeons issue, of which there are 5 if you count the final Hyrule Castle. So people have said that there are 4 dungeons in this game. I would actually reduce that number. I would say there is 1 dungeon in this game, at least aesthetically. Like in your average Zelda, you can expect 8 dungeons with different like flavors and abilities and all that kind of stuff, where they require a new weapon and it has utility in particular within that dungeon that makes it feel valuable and helpful. Even fairly memey ones like the spinny disc thing from Twilight Princess that I frankly thought was dope. But the sad truth of the matter is, because you've been given so much freedom to explore the world in any direction you want and to do anything you want at any time, the developers were forced to make the 4 different Divine Beast dungeons all completable from the start. They gave you magnets, they gave you stasis. That's it, you're on your own. You've got all the tools you're ever going to have. There is a certain value to that approach that I do enjoy, but there are downsides too. And this is the main one. The dungeons end up feeling flavorless, personalityless. I didn't care about any of these dungeons. You think I can remember an individual trap or trick from any of them? I remember tons from old Zeldas. Remember the 3-block puzzle? Huh? I love those. How about the piece of shit water temple? We all love that. How about when you got the dual hook shots in Twilight Princess? That was fucking dope. But the only thing I remember about the dungeons from Breath of the Wild is a vague sense of, oh, gotta use magnet, gotta use stasis. And that's about it. And that's the problem. It's all the same shit. The developers needed to structure this game so you could beat any part of it at any time if you went there first. And this is the negative side of that choice. And additionally, beyond all that stuff, I've gotta say, the characters that we were supposed to care about in the game were a bit lacking. Like seriously, all the guardians, all the dead people that we meet the ghosts of and they help us out, I liked the king at the start, but I think that's largely because his role felt very humble. Yes, he was the king and all that, but his place was on the plateau just as an introductory PC. We very soon leave that and we go off to have our real adventures with, you know, our cool ghost boys. And with each of them, we get like a handful of flashbacks, which for me really never do much. And then like one scene of them saying like, wow, Zelda, I knew you could do it. I love you. You know, I see what they're going for with the whole like 100 years passed since Link fell into a slumber. You wake up, the world's gotten fucked by Ganon. Sorry, Calamity Ganon. I fucking hate that. Just call him Ganon, you pieces of shit. And then, hey, we get some flashbacks. These were your best friends, remember? Yeah, sure, I remember. Here they are again. Have one quick scene with them before we never see them again in any important way. God, I just don't care. I just don't care. Flashbacks alone cannot make me care about a character, which is why I'll tell you the best character in the whole game. So the Goron kid, he was terrible, didn't give a fuck. Prince Fish guy, he was pretty cool. He helped me a lot. I like that guy. Mr. Birdman, he really didn't do much for me. He was okay. But the best character in all of Breath of the Wild is without a doubt Gerudo Lolly. I could talk all day about how much I love this character. She's the chieftain of the Gerudo. She's a fucking pimp. She's got that smug as fuck grin because she knows she's in charge. She's fucking powerful and she won't take your shit. But she's also fucking Moe. Because the Thunder Helm is too fucking big for her head. And it keeps rattling around. How fucking adorable is that? And then of course she's a fucking badass who's willing to get out in the shit and help you fight against that big camel motherfucker. God, I love her, yes! Not more than you, my queen. Not more than you. But whatever, you get the point I'm trying to make. Some of the characters were okay, but that's the problem. There were like a couple characters that were kind of okay, and then the world was devoid of anyone else. There were all these NPCs that really didn't matter in the narrative. I just felt so above the world, alright? It was uncomfortable and weird. So there you go. That's all my thoughts on Breath of the Wild, alright? So it's a good game. Really like what they're doing with some of the new ideas and the adventurous attitude, you know, harkening back to Zelda 1, as everybody's fucking saying. But it definitely came at the cost of the kind of world development and polish that would have been nice to have in addition. I feel like it would be possible to take something like Breath of the Wild and use that as a template, and then build on that, you know? Have like more characters matter to the narrative. Have the conclusion of the story involve more than just like a bunch of people a million miles away who we barely know from flashbacks, shooting laser beams, and then we have a one-on-one fight, and then, you know, we hang out with Zelda at the end. Like, it was missing people I could care about. That's what was missing. There just wasn't enough thickness and richness to the characters for me to really be invested. And it's probably because they just didn't get enough screen time. Okay, there you go. That's my thoughts on that game. Now let's talk about Hollow Knight. So Hollow Knight is like the antithesis to Breath of the Wild. It's this 2D action platformer classic Metroidvania game made by this relatively new studio from Australia, Team Cherry, shout out to you boys. And while Hollow Knight is certainly not afraid to try out new ideas, some of which I criticized it for in my first video discussing the game, which you can watch here or something, it is very much entrenched in the conventions of its genre. However, that is absolutely to its strengths, because Hollow Knight perfects what it's trying to achieve. Quite frankly, Hollow Knight is the sequel to Castlevania Order of Ecclesia I've been waiting for so many years. With a brand new aesthetic, brand new story, and brand new playstyle that I fucking love. It's got all the classic trappings of your typical Metroidvania. You start off with low mobility options, low power, low health. You work your way through the game, you collect more of all, and by the end of the thing, you are fucking zipping around the castle doing all kinds of crazy shit, killing people with a couple slashes of your extended spear as you throw out magic powers in every direction at once. Meanwhile, you're using your new abilities to further explore the map in all the directions you couldn't get to at first, and after getting a few of the worst ones, you smash through all the remaining obstacles and obtain the true ending of the game. And I gotta tell you, there is nothing that feels better than when I'm doing that. So to go into a little more depth, Hollow Knight involves you playing as this little bug dude who shows up out of nowhere in Hollow Nest, this decaying ancient kingdom a la Dark Souls, and has you exploring around, learning the history that no one really remembers, finding artifacts and incorporating them into your arsenal, and eventually uncovering the truth of the realm and saving it from its curse. Though you don't actually manage to pull that off in Dark Souls, so +1 to you, bug boy. It's just the tightest little package of pure Metroidvania joy. I don't really feel like I need to go into a lot of detail for this game, because frankly, if you've played one Metroidvania, you know how this is gonna go. But the best parts of Hollow Knight are in its flawless execution of the classic Metroidvania style with an unbelievably beautiful aesthetic. The fact that you play as a little bug in a civilization of literal insects, and that you're investigating the crumbled society of bug people, just like, and look at the world, look at the shit you see. Fucking dragonflies, fucking shells everywhere, fucking carapaces, everyone's a bug, it's the coolest thing ever, I love bugs! I love bugs! If I was a Pokemon gym leader, I'd be a bug trainer. I have always loved the miniaturization meme you see in games like Zelda Minish, for example, the fact that you shrink down and the whole world is recontextualized from the perspective of a little dude. I love the fact that the first major boss in a dungeon in Minish is just a regular fucking enemy, one of those weeble wobble guys that you can take out in one fucking sword slash when you're big. That shit is fucking gold! And Hollow Knight gives me everything I ever wanted on that front. Look at this literally perfect character, Hornet. She uses a sewing needle and thread to ninja the fuck around. She is perfect! I love her! Your character, of course, uses a nail to fight with, and everyone uses fucking nails in here. You know, I could go on all day about the specific things I love about this aesthetic, but you get the picture. The feeling you get as you slowly open up the world, it's just pure Metroidvania. It's pure joy, like the classic Castlevanias that I grew up playing on the GBA. Yeah, Symphony of the Night started it, but I played that later. I'm talking about Circle of the Moon, I'm talking about Harmony of Dissonance, and I'm talking about the best Castlevania ever made, Aria of Sorrow. Soma Cruz is my boy for life! And not to mention the best Metroid game, Metroid Fusion. Fucking fight me. And oh god, I know I mentioned this in brief before, but the fact that you get like lesser final bosses that you can beat and get bad endings, but then the game gives you the ability to explore further, find the pieces of the puzzle that you haven't found yet, and then eventually use them to get the perfect ultimate ending that is classic Igavania and the best shit in the world. It's my favorite thing in video games! Just like I did back in the day when Soma Cruz beat the final boss equipped with those certain monster souls, and then I got a whole second version of the fucking map to explore. The best. The best. The best. So in case you can't tell, I'm quite fond of this type of game. The atmosphere, the sense of exploration, the real sense of terror and dread of the unknown, as the whole curse idea that's going on in this game, you take a long time to understand. And really, you're fighting something akin to Hollows in this game. This game really is very similar to Dark Souls. This ain't no Crash Bandicoot meme. A lot of what you kill are just insane former citizens of Hollow Nest that now just want to kill you because they're fucking crazy. And my god, this game is not afraid to get fucking dark with these bug lives. The shit you uncover about the secret underbelly of the Kingdom of Hollow Nest, the shit they didn't want you to fucking know, is fucking juicy. See, this is what I'm talking about. This game fucking rewards exploration with real, tangible details. I'm talking about lore, and I'm talking about permanent fucking upgrades to your character. That's the shit that makes exploring a world rewarding. God, I love it! So that's basically all the positives, but let's be fair and address the negatives of this game. It has to be said that Hollow Knight is basically just another Metroidvania. It might be the most polished, beautifully animated by hand art style, perfectly crafted exploratory experience Metroidvania in a decade or so, but the fact of the matter is, it is absolutely standing on the shoulders of giants. Honestly, that's the biggest criticism I've got here. And to quickly address the criticisms I made of Hollow Knight in my first video during Mia Mafifa, I had some issues with the fact that you don't start off with a map, and you basically have to use the in-game currency of geos to purchase what are super basic fundamentals in a Metroidvania, basically your maps and the ability to draw on your maps. As I say in that video, at first I found this very uncomfortable, but after a little while I found that having to buy those materials in order to create the map actually created a little bit more extra lore and contextualization to a mechanic that I had taken for granted in Metroidvanias up to that point, the fact that your characters just generate maps as you proceed through the game. I actually really like the fact that your maps only get filled in now when you have a seat at a bench and your character is physically scribbling out the notes on the fucking map. It gives it another level of three-dimensionality and realism to both your character and the world you're inhabiting and the fucking game you're playing, so I have no criticisms of that anymore. It gets a little bit slower start, but it pays off in a big way. So in the end, even that, I fucking love. The game is polished to a mirror fucking shine. I know they released some new DLC recently that I haven't gotten around to yet. Bet your bottom dollar I'm going to. So on that note, let's get into the comparison between these two games. Hollow Knight and Breath of the Wild. So, as I'm sure you expected from the way that I crafted my discussion, I wanted to compare these two games on the philosophies that went into their creation. One of them decided to totally break its conventions and explore whole new grounds, creating an entirely different experience of playing a game in that series. It allows incredible highs, and the people who made this are to be celebrated for their technical achievements. But there is an unfortunate loss of personality in the process. Whereas our other game is the perfection of a very specific type of game, borrowing elements from all the ones that have come before it, but finally producing a product that is absolutely pristine. Taking the time to create an entirely new type of narrative about the types of characters you rarely see in video games. And while they're at it, making a damn fine story. So, with our two contestants established, who is the better game? Can I get a drum roll, please? The winner is Hollow Knight. Now please everybody, let's be reasonable. I am absolutely not saying that Breath of the Wild is a worse game than Hollow Knight. What I'm saying is that I personally enjoyed my experience with Hollow Knight more. Zelda fans, I'm one of you, but let's be honest with ourselves. The game is not perfect. And of course, there's the undeniable fact that Zelda's world and aesthetic is so fucking worn out to death. I'm sick of the fucking Hyrule realm with the elves, the Zoras, the bird guys are kind of cool. I mean, they were in Majora's Mask, but whatever. Like, I don't care about this world at all. It's totally boring, trite, like done to death, high fantasy. Middling fantasy, whatever, fantasy shit. In all fairness, this Zelda does improve things with the addition of the ancient Sheikah artifacts that are totally a ripoff of Princess Mononoke. Don't think I didn't notice that shit. Like, this motherfucker is Ashitaka, don't deny it. And how could this, like, generic fantasy world possibly compete with the incredibly rich and fresh world of Hollow Knight like I described before? And don't be confused thinking that just because Hollow Knight is about a crumbled civilization, as is Zelda, that makes them equivalent. Absolutely not. It's the fact that in the present, in the now, you in Hollow Knight are exploring the world and uncovering mysteries. That's totally different from just being spoon-fed a cutscene every once in a while. That's a fucking flashback that just establishes character interactions. They are night and fucking day. Everything that matters in Hollow Knight is happening right now with a context that matters to the past, whereas Zelda is trying to like dredge up the past and make it relevant emotionally now. Not the fucking same. Like, the world of fucking Zelda right now is pretty fucking fine. All the towns are doing okay. What exactly is the problem with the fact that Calamity fucking Ganon is running Hyrule Castle? Honestly, there is none. Okay, that's it. Breath of the Wild is absolutely to be celebrated for the technical achievements they have made and the vast imagination that went into that product. I think it is a fantastic direction for the series to go, but I honestly think that there is more polish required to make a truly great game. It sounds harsh to say, but I consider Breath of the Wild to be on the bridge between tech demo and fully fleshed game. I am absolutely awed by the things people have figured out how to do with the complex system that they've implemented in that game, and I love it. But the fact of the matter is, Hollow Knight and the folks at Team Cherry should be saluted for the incredible attention to detail and effort that went into this project. I will be shocked if I play a better game than Hollow Knight in 2017, or hell, 2018 for that matter. I'm just so happy that this studio, Team Cherry, this bunch of up-and-comers, could make such a wonderful fucking product. You know, why the fuck is it? That's right, I'm taking it to this place. Why the fuck can't Square Enix make a game like this? You know, something that really gives a shit. Not just another fucking corporatized, DLC-laden piece of trash like 15! Yeah! Okay, there's my Square Enix rant for the week. But if you want to see more, follow me at Bestest Guy Ever on Twitter. And so, our first ever, which is bestest, Best Guy Ever trophy goes to Hollow Knight for outstanding achievements in the video game field. I salute you. I salute the folks at Team Cherry. For the love of God, keep making video games. Be a role model to those disgusting corporate fat cats who only care about turning a product instead of the people like you who really give a shit about making incredible fucking video games. Anyway, enough about that. The award ceremony's over. Get the fuck out of here, Cherry. The only cherry I want in this room belongs to my president. Did you feel that? Oh shit! Transition time! We're transitioning into the next part of the video now. Alright everybody, you know what it's time for. Pack packages! Hey everybody, thanks for sending the shit to P.O. Box 9561, Cincinnati, Ohio, zip code I always forget on the screen now. Let's open these up and thank some people. Oh, goddamn, I bet this is gonna be a long fucking episode. Our first package was sent from Right Stuff. Let's find out what it is. Oh, god damn it! This motherfucker Brandon sent me one of the fucking keys from Fairy Tail. Guys, don't send me Fairy Tail shit. I hate Fairy Tail. Wink. You know what this means, though? Hillary's getting herself another fucking chain. He also sent me a pack of Berserk playing cards. They look very nice. I might actually use these. Thanks, dude. That's the second set of anime playing cards I've gotten. Go figure. The Sagittarius key, huh? Fuck you. Just kidding. I love you, Brandon. All right, on to the next loser. There we go. God damn it. It's volume 1 of Galco that I already fucking own. Why didn't you send me volume 2, dude? I'm pretty sure that's out now. I've been thinking about getting that. Oh, I think this is actually from the same guy. Yo, best guy ever. I sent you another gift through Right Stuff, cards and a keychain, so it'll probably not come at the same time. Here's some random stuff that are vaguely associated with your channel. I'm assuming you own a Gurren Lagann drill already. I don't, and I actually don't want one because they're too nerdy. Like, every fucking nerd in my anime club in college wore a fucking core drill. I have a negative association with them. On people. On Simone, it totally works. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Here's your book, bro. Here's my book. I fucking own this shit already. What is this? You know what? This is fine. I will, maybe I'll give one to a friend. Maybe I'll own 2 forever. Thank you regardless, because these are actually fantastic. Everyone, pick up the fucking Galco manga, or read it from a library, or whatever the fuck, because these are absolutely beautiful and great. I really want volume 2. Hey, somebody, if you want to send me something Galco, send me volume fucking 2. Pretty sure it's out in English now. There you go. Thanks anyway, dude. Appreciate it. Okay, here we go. Here's a big boy. This is from Dennis. I have a hero named Dennis, you know? The implication. Okay, what do we got here? Tachipende something something. Okay, check it out. There's some kind of Japanese DS game in here, which I can incidentally play because DS games are non-region locked. Thank you, Nintendo, for not being cunts for once. But I'm pretty sure the 3DS is region locked, so I might be fucked. We'll see. Touch, catch, witch. Okay, I have no idea what this game's about. Is this the one where you rub the lollies? Yeah, that must be it. Okay, it's the one where you rub the lollies. I will definitely enjoy this later. Thanks, buddy. Let's look at the other gift before we see the notes. Jeez, what have we got here? Hey! Oh, hey, everybody, can you see this shit? Look, everybody. This is from, is this Girls in Panzer? Is that what this is? I'm pretty sure it is. Fuck, what are these things called? Fucking body pillow? Shit, what are the fucking name for these? Whatever, I can't remember, doesn't matter. Body pillow of, I think, the Girls in Panzer girl, or the one where they fly, Strike Witch. She's a Strike Witch, that's what it is. Another lovely waifu for my harem. Thanks, dude. That is so thoughtful. Okay, let's read the note. Hey, best guy ever. Upon looking at your back wall while watching your videos, I couldn't help but feel like Mrs. Clinton, that's President Clinton, could really use a good friend. A good squishy friend to bounce thoughts and ideas off of. That'll really help her when she's making big decisions in the Oval Office. I wish them both the best of luck. As for the other thing in the box, you might ask, I don't know. Fuck it. Carpe diem. Anyway, I like your videos and your don't give a fuck presents. Peace, brother. A fan among many, the real Kitsune. Oh my god! Of all the Kitsunes out there, you're the real Kitsune? That's badass, dude. It's an honor to meet you. I'm just busting your balls, dude. These are great. Thank you so much. Fucking cat girl here will be a companion to my president forevermore. Hey, what do you think, everybody? Not too bad, huh? Don't they look cute together? They're a couple made in heaven. Anyway, let's move on to our next section. But before that, a new chain from my Yas Queen. There we go. Now, my girl is shining. Next section! Transition. Transition. Okay, questions. Here we go. At Any Jokino asks, you need to make a Potara fusion with either Digibro or Mumkey to save the world. Who will you fuse with and why? I kill myself. At Me May Think asks, what do you think of Uzumaki? I just started reading it and find it more fun than scary or disgusting. Am I insane? Did the curse something getting cut off, I guess. I love Uzumaki. I read the whole thing as referenced in my Gurren Lagann video. That was not a joke. I've read a lot of Ito's works, and I'm a big fan. His Lovecraftian style of horror, really cool stuff. Really fun. A lot of interesting ideas he puts in. I really love the whacked out shit he can do, like the fucking balloon one where everyone's heads turn into balloons and they all like are terrorized by these balloon people. That's great shit. He's got a lot of great ideas. So Uzumaki was fantastic. The ending was like tragic and wonderful. Really good stuff. Just very positive all around. Nothing bad to say about it. At Chunifucker asks, what do you think about the Bravely games? I know you like Default, but what do you think about Second and the possibility of Third? Like you said, I really did like Bravely Default. I have not played Bravely Second yet, and I'll probably get around to it somewhere. My schedule has become a lot more packed since the days when I played Bravely Default back then, but I would like to play it. I think there's a lot of potential for a really great game. The biggest problem with Bravely Default was the big meme of like replaying things over and over and over again in the second half, which, like, yes, there was new story to it, so it wasn't like intellectually bankrupt, but there really did feel like there was a laziness about it, like a recycling of material. I really would have preferred just some new shit. You know, I like what they were doing. I just think the execution suffered in holding people's attention, including mine. But once you get past all that shit, when you get to the new content at the end of it, man, some of that shit was fucking great. The final boss of Bravely Default is like one of the dopest ever. Not really in terms of the fight itself, but in terms of like the specific usages of the 3DS and like the way the camera itself gets used in that fight, it's fucking mind-blowing, okay? I mean the physical camera on the 3DS. I'll let you go figure it out for yourself, but it blows my fucking mind. People should play Bravely Default. It's worth getting to the end. So I don't know, man. People tell me, is Bravely Second good? I don't know. Should I play it? I've kind of been waiting just to hear like if there's that much buzz like there was with Bravely Default. So I really can't comment on Bravely Third. If they've corrected some of those worst things about Bravely Default for Bravely Second and, you know, a potential Bravely Third, I would probably be very positive about the idea. But honestly, I've heard a bunch of negative things, so I'm a little bit worried. So that's kind of why I haven't been like hyped to get into it, but we'll see. One day I'll find out. At George Manser asks, what's the best game you've ever played on Steam? For me, it's Honey Pop. Shout out to all the fine video game ladies out there. Hell yeah, dude. Fucking love Honey Pop. I would say the best Steam game I've ever played is without a doubt Portal 1. I have such a great memory of playing Portal 1. Actually, my big brother Ben Saint, comic maker extraordinaire, Pokemon genius, he came home from college one day, he had on his laptop, he had Steam, and he had Portal, and he said, Nate, you gots to play this game. Just take my computer and play it, which was very unusual for that guy. And you know, I'd be protective of my laptop too. But I sat down, he just gave it to me for like 2 days. I beat the thing in like, I don't know, 7 hours or something. And it was incredible. It fucking blew my mind. I hadn't heard shit about Portal. Like, I didn't have my ear to the ground the way he did for like cool new shows or new games at that time. But man, that game blew me the fuck away. And I really haven't had a game experience like that since, you know? So, Portal, that's my answer. Thanks, Ben. Never forget that. Oh, here's a good question. At Dr. Otter CIM asks, do you still recommend Dr. Stone? It fell into shonen tropes? Question mark? I absolutely recommend Dr. Stone now more than ever. Those fears that I had in my video during Miyamafuva have been completely washed away. That shit has gone way to the back burner. It's literally away from screen. It's off screen now. Those characters have left. And we've got a whole bunch of new characters who are all down in the fucking dirt doing science and building a civilization exactly like I hoped the series would do. It is fantastic. I've been tweeting about this a little bit. You really should follow me on at bestestguyever on Twitter. I'm on there all the fucking time tweeting shit. I love Twitter. I just love being able to get my thoughts out so quickly like I do when I'm reading a great new manga like Dr. Stone. People, Dr. Stone is fantastic. It is my favorite currently running shonen, and the fact that it's in Shonen Jump makes me so happy. I'm so fucking happy. I also still really love Jagan, which you might have seen me talk about on Twitter a couple times. Jagan is beautiful, it's edgy, in the good way. It's not tasteless like some fucking assholes have been saying on my Twitter. Jagan fucking rules. If there's two manga that I want people to be reading right now, it is Jagan and Dr. Stone. They are in fact great, especially Dr. Stone. Get out there and read them, kiddos, right now. And we'll do one more, because this is a question that is important to address before too much more time goes by and people lose their precious moments of life. At NerdWarp112 asks, would you recommend reading or watching One Piece? Also, have you seen Hunter x Hunter 2011? No, I haven't seen that. It looks great. Maybe one day I'll watch it. I love the manga. The Chimera arc Ant was great. But on the One Piece question, for the love of God, people, do not watch the anime, especially post episode like, I don't know, like when they get to Shabondi Archipelago, after that is when it really goes to shit. Even maybe a little bit before that. Read fucking One Piece. Do not watch the anime. Even the old anime, I don't know is necessarily worth watching all those episodes. I mean, it probably is, alright? It's a good fucking anime. I certainly watched it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, but it's just, by reading the manga, you get basically, like, all the great shit with no wasted time. What I would say, really, the best strategy to take is read the fucking manga, okay? Just read the manga, forget the shit in the anime, just ignore it. Once you're done, there are a few moments that you need to experience in the anime afterward, okay? Number one, the most important moment of which is fucking Binks Sake. The fucking song at the end of Thriller Bark that Brook sings with his boys. You have to see that because that is a musical moment that is narratively important, emotionally important. It's just everything you could possibly hope the scene would be. I fucking love Binks Sake. And there's a couple other ones like when Luffy blows the fuck out of Bellamy. Like, they're really good there too, but Binks Sake, man, you can't fucking miss that shit. And if you don't know what Binks Sake is, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, fucking get back to me, tweet at me once you've read all of One Piece. I'll tell you what episodes to watch. Maybe I'll put it up on screen right now, just like what episode contains this. You should watch like a couple before so you're like in the swing of things. Also, Brown Robin with blue eyes, my favorite version, only exists in the anime, not the manga, where she had light skin like every other character and brown eyes. So that's a strength of the anime, to be fair, though that went away after the time skip. Whatever. Read the manga. That's the short answer. I could talk about One Piece all fucking day, as you can tell. And if you want to hear that, incidentally, subscribe to the Podcast channel that me and my bestest buddy Hypocrite run over on that channel. And that's it, everybody. We're done. That's the end of WIAGW for the week. I know you enjoyed watching me be a genius again this week, and I'm gonna do it again next week. I will see you then, my brothers and sisters. Hey, and make sure that you tweet more questions to me like I just answered using hashtag AskBGE. Send them anytime. I look through the whole list when I do this shit every week. All right, everybody, now help me do this full time by going to patreon.com/bestguyever. Pledge just a little bit so I can be free from my corporate slave job, so I can be an entertainer for you folks full time. Look at me, I'm your clown. I have no personality. I have no emotions. I'm dead inside. And if you want to guarantee to hear me more than once a week, subscribe to The Procrastinators channel, where we make The Procrastinators podcast. Me and my internet buddies, Digibro, Ben Sane, Hypocrite, everybody you know and love, they're all over on that channel. In addition to the normal podcast, we're also right now doing Ricksty Minutes, our weekly podcast about the new Rick and Morty episode. So if you like that shit, go subscribe. And that's it, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. I will see you next week, and get the fuck out.